My name is Richard Dannett, and I've been a trustee of the Windsor Leadership Trust for a number of years now. And over the next few minutes, a number of my colleagues, other trustees, other board members and I would like to explain to you why we think the Windsor Leadership Trust is pretty special, and also why we would recommend it to other organisations. I think the first answer to the first question is that it's pretty unique as an organisation in that it brings together the private, public and charitable sectors. And over 2, 3 or 4 day seminars and conferences, people at their various stages of management and leadership experience pool their ideas, they pool their experience and they learn together. And I think that does give a pretty unique selling point. And I would recommend the Windsor Leadership Trust to other organisations, principally because of the passion and the belief that we have in the need to see good leadership right across the sectors of our life. Those that come and take part as facilitators, as lecturers, and speakers on the various conferences do so completely free, and they do it because they're passionate about seeing good leadership and trying to raise standards right across our public, private and charitable sectors. Thank you.
Windsor Leadership Trust is unique. What makes it different is not just that it is a not-for-profit organisation. We don't do £450 a day sheep dips on management. What we do is we convene extraordinary people to talk about one of the biggest challenges of our age. How do you lead people effectively, efficiently into the kind of changing environment that we all have to deal with nowadays? If you're committed to developing your staff, then Windsor Leadership Trust really should be one of the organisations you consider as part of your leadership development programme. What makes us special is not that we have a standard way of teaching about leadership, but that we give people the opportunity to explore with other upwardly mobile, very skilled leaders of their generation what leadership means, what it means to the people you are trying to lead, but most importantly, what it means to you and how you can root leadership into your everyday actions. I've never found another organisation that creates quite the environment that WLT does to do that.
The first interaction I had with the Windsor Leadership Trust was in 2003 when I joined the newly appointed Strategic Leaders course, and I can quite happily say that it was a really important intervention in my leadership career because it gave me time to reflect and step back from my business with a number of people from lots of different backgrounds. That was energising and confidence building. Since then, in the 7 years that have followed, I've spent many moments with the Windsor Leadership Trust, and it's always interesting and thought-provoking, and it's pushed me to think about what more I can do as a leader, both for my organisation and for society. The reason that I would recommend the Windsor Leadership Trust to any organisation is it's the only situation I've come across in my leadership career where you bring together leaders at different stages of their journey from across multiple different sectors and activities. So I come from a corporate environment. The first time that I was involved, I spent time with the Chief Constable, somebody from the military, somebody from the hospital service, private equity, charities, etc. And I've never come across that diversity before or since.
I first attended a Windsor Leadership course a number of years ago, and it was one of the most profound leadership opportunities of my life. The chance to meet with others from different walks of life, to share management problems, to reflect on leadership, all had a tremendous and lasting impact on me. For that reason, I've been incredibly enthusiastic about using the Windsor Leadership Trust as a management and leadership tool for staff in my department for education. People have the chance to leave the normal and daily working environment, meet others from the private sector, from the voluntary sector, the armed forces, the police, and to think deeply about leadership, what it means, how do you enhance your leadership capacity, how do you build resilience. These are the hot and lasting questions of leadership, and it seems to me the Windsor Leadership Trust is perfectly placed to assist the leaders of today and tomorrow to be more effective in role.
Hello there, I'm Ian McCaig, Chief Executive of lastminute.com. I just want to talk for a couple of minutes about the Windsor Leadership Trust. A lot of people try to describe what is different about the trust, and we often use words like diversity, we talk about values, we talk about having a view of leadership and aspiration. That there's a lot of this is about responsibility and about social impact and leadership in its broadest sense. That's quite a hard thing to actually then articulate in detail. So I think the best way I can do that, and by way of explanation of why I believe the Trust's work to be of great value. As I say, let's look at a couple of examples. Just from my own experience in participating in Windsor Leadership Trust programs, as a leader of an e-commerce business, lastminute.com is a very fast-paced business. There's a lot of pressure in terms of it's a shop that's open 24 hours a day in 11 countries. So you think, in a very eclectic, diverse group, what do you actually learn about leadership? Well, if you're sitting there and you're talking to someone who is, for example, a senior leader from one of the world's armed forces, and they may be involved in a very specific conflict, in your own business you're thinking about, when you get concerned about people operating in silos, you get concerned about teamwork, you get concerned about partnerships and coordination with third parties and other businesses that you need in order for your business to be successful. When you're talking to someone who is in a theatre of war, for example, and they are coordinating, for example, an air force with ground forces from another country, from their own country, from a group of countries, working with intelligence and air forces from other countries as well, you can't think about silos. That person has to just make that work. The teamwork has to work. And you talk about a duty of care to employees and how to get the most from employees. Someone in that position is in a very acute position of having a duty of care, the ultimate duty of care for the preservation of people's lives. And the reason I give that example is it's an articulation of what is a commercial leader in as different a business as commercial business as you could think of as relates to a leader in an armed force. But the reality is, you really learn things that you would never learn in a conventional leadership meeting or in a business school or whatever else. And that, for me, is an essential example of what the Trust can deliver that no one else can. Because it brings humility, it brings perspective, and it makes real concerns and leadership issues of the day in a way that you never would conventionally do with peers from your own industry. That's probably about as long as an example as I should give. I just wanted to give you all an insight as to why I believe the work of the Trust to be extremely important, and why for leaders at lastminute.com it has had a material beneficial advantage to their performance, because it's helped them to think completely differently about leadership and think about leadership in a much broader way, in a more values-led way, but still in a very performance-led way. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you all, and I hope this has been a useful insight into the work of the Trust. Thank you.